Hello YouTube, I'm John and this is the Mask Face Journal. Today I'm going to talk to you about Star Trek Beyond, the spoiler version. If you haven't seen it already, check out the non-spoiler video I did earlier. The plot of this movie is kind of a MacGuffin plot. It revolves around an artifact that the Enterprise has used for a diplomatic mission early in the movie, and that is what the villain wants. It's part of a biological weapon. Now, the villain itself, it's Idris Elba's Kral, who is some sort of alien vampire-ish thing. It sucks the energy out of other people, so it sustains his life. Now, the spoiler thing is, he's not actually an alien. He's a human being who has lived on this planet for like 100 years. He's an ex-Starfleet captain, and all the other villains in this movie are supposedly other Starfleet officers. During a majority of the movie, the villain's motivation seems kind of unclear. He just wants to punish humanity, and it seems like a revenge plot, but it's not, because he is a human who has kind of forgotten his humanity, and he wants to turn the humanity into a more warlike species because he was an ex-soldier before he joined Starfleet, or before Starfleet was formed, because he is from the Enterprise era, or slightly after Enterprise. Anyway, the Enterprise returns from a somewhat failed diplomatic mission with the MacGuffin thing to a space station, a newly built space station called Yorktown that makes Deep Space Nine look like a trailer park compared to New York City. It's a huge ball in space with a giant population. That is kind of the thing that the villains wants to destroy in the movie. Just when the crew is about to embark on shore leave, they get some sort of distress call from an escape pod that wants them to come and help them save their crew who crash landed on this planet inside this unexplored nebula. It is, of course, a trap sent by the villain of the movie, Kral, Idris Elba, who wants the MacGuffin thing that Enterprise has, blah blah blah. And the Enterprise gets totally destroyed. Completely and utterly destroyed. And that might be a problem for some people. It has happened before in movies. And, well, what you gonna do? You've seen it in the trailers. The villain has these kind of B ships, they call them. They're basically attack vessels that doesn't care about shields. It just penetrates them. How? That is kind of a plot hole, because the people who created these are from an era before shields were even a thing. The ships that were from their era had polarized hull plating, and it's explicitly stated in the movie, so it's not some kind of nerd card I'm throwing here. Anyway, the Enterprise gets destroyed and the crew gets separated, and most of the crew gets captured by the villains, and the bridge crew and Scotty gets separated and have different subplots in the movie. Scotty meets Jayla, Spock and Bones have their own character trip journey thing, and Chekhov and Kirk have their action beats. Like I said, Scotty meets this Jayla character who has been stranded on this planet since she was a little girl, and has made her home in an old, kind of NX-class starship from Enterprise era, which has taught her English, conveniently enough. And she likes Beastie Boys, because that's classical music and they have that on their computer. That's actually a plot point, but I'll get to that later. Once the bridge crew find each other, they put together a daring plan to rescue the rest of the crew, and then they do it with some decent action and some comedy. And this is where the motorcycle bit, the scene in the trailers, fit in, as well as some interesting use of hologram technology that really shouldn't be around this early. I mean, they're having mobile emitters that would make the Doctor from Voyager jealous if he hadn't had his ones from the future. Once the crew is rescued, they have to race to rebuild and repair the old NX style ship so that they can race and save the space station, Yorktown, that the villains wants to destroy. Once they catch up with the B ships, they figure out that they need to jam the frequency they use to communicate, because the B ships fly in such a coordinated fashion that they need to constantly check with each other to synchronize their movements. And they use Beastie Boys to jam their frequency and basically blow up half the armada. That might sound terrible, but it actually is a funny movement in the movie. They manage to stop most of the enemy ships, but it still leads to a foot chase between Kirk and Idris Elba's character to basically stop him from disseminating the bioweapon through the entire space station's air flow filter thingy. After a pretty cool, gravity-defying fight, Kirk naturally wins because we can't have a genocide like that in the movie, except we could do it with Vulcan. I digress. Kirk wins, Idris Elba's character is thrown out of space, and people celebrate. They continue to work together, everything is happy. The Enterprise is rebuilt as Enterprise A, nice nod there. The end. Like I said in the non-spoiler review, I like this movie really, really much. It's funny, it's action-packed, and it has some very good character moments. And it has some sweet nods to original series. It has some nods to Enterprise, with a mention of the Xindi War, for example. And it has a dedication to Leonard Nimoy, who passed away, and Anton Yelchin, who also passed away, who played Chekhov. It was, yeah, I recommend you seeing this movie. That's basically it. Did you enjoy this video? Like, comment, and subscribe. Did you not enjoy this video or disagree with me? Please tell me in the comments. I am done for tonight.